Hey French horns, welcome back. We're going to talk about some more maintenance on our instrument, okay? In the last video, we talked about how to grease our slides so that we can easily pull in and out to tune ourselves and do other things like that. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to oil our valves, okay? So you'll notice with my horn, I oil it about once a week, which is when you should do that, or when they get sticky. When I say sticky, it means that the valves are just not moving very fast. They're kind of slow. You can tell mine are going pretty quickly, but they're kind of noisy, okay? When they get kind of noisy, you can do the same thing. I can take my mask off because I am inside my office, so I'm going to do that so I can show you guys. Okay, so I have my horn, and we need to learn about how to oil it, okay? In your kit, you should have gotten something that looks like this. It says synthetic rotor oil, and it should say like lubricant 12, and it also says rotor oil on it, okay? To oil our valves, this is super important because again, like we'll start playing things and moving our fingers a lot more as soon as we start learning more notes, and we want to be able to play things with ease without worrying about our valves, okay? I'm going to take my oil. I'm going to take my French horn, okay? I'm going to set it down like this, all right? And then the first thing that we need to do is we want to oil each of our valves, okay? So all you're gonna do to start is you are going to remove your slides, just like I showed you in the video where we talked about greasing our slides. So I'm gonna push down the buttons. In this case, I'm about to take off the back and front side of my horn with both valves. So I'm gonna put down my first valve and my trigger. I'm going to very carefully take out my first valve slide. Very carefully take out my first valve slide in the back as well, because we have that double horn, okay? Now I'm going to take my oil. I can release now because my slides are out. I'm gonna take my oil. It should have like a pointy top, kind of like this. Take that green cap off, okay? And I am going to just very carefully, I'm gonna kind of point my horn up like this so I can get this at an angle. I'm gonna put 2 to 3 drops of oil into each of the 2 groupings of holes. So if you look here, each one has like a valve slide group. So there's one here and one here. I'm going to put a couple drops in this first valve slide here, and then a couple drops in the back slide as well, okay? Then all I'm going to do so that oil gets up in there is I'm going to move it to the side a little bit and give my valve just a little bit of a wiggle. You don't need to do much, okay? Just give it a little wiggle, let that oil get in there, kind of move it around. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing for my second and third valves, the same exact thing. So I will push the second and the trigger down. I will pull those valve slides out very gently because I've already greased them, okay? And then I'll put 2 to 3 drops of oil in each, the front and the back, just like we did. Give it a wiggle, and then your slides will be nice and oiled, and they'll move fast for you, and they won't be as noisy. Okay, it's a great way to keep your horn clean, making sure that you're doing maintenance on it. We like to do maintenance Monday around here, so maybe every Monday. And then just make sure you're doing that, and anytime they're sticky as well. So they need to be moving well for you because we are French horn players and we want to make sure everything's moving well. Okay, and that is how we oil our slides, or oil our valves. And then all we do, last step after we do that, is we just add in our slides, putting our slides back in. So I'll push down my first valve in the back slide because I'm putting it back in. Just like that, and just like this, and then I can release because they're in, and my valves are all oiled. And I'll repeat again for second valve and third valve. And for your trigger, real quick, we also need to go over this. Your trigger, you should have something somewhere connected to your trigger. So in this case, my trigger valve, where I'm going to put my oil, is up here, okay? So I'm going to very carefully, oops, my oil fell over. I'm going to take this valve out because it's connected to my trigger. I don't have to push down my trigger when I do this. I can just pull it right out. And I'm just going to put 2 to 3 drops. Not a lot, because your trigger also needs to be oiled as well, because you move that as well. Then I'm going to stick this back in there. I don't have to press anything down like I said. And now my trigger is oiled as well, okay? And that'll be the trigger one that you will oil will be the one that's connected to your trigger. So for me, you can tell my trigger is back here, and the tubing connects up to this valve in the front. Your horn's a little bit different, but you just want to make sure it's connected to the trigger because that's where you want the oil to go, okay? And that's how we oil all of our valves.